Hey there, this is Dr. Brooke Goldner. Happy Wellness Wednesday. I'm here from Goodbye Lupus to make sure you get the education and help you need to get well. You're going to love this video that's coming. It is a replay because I'm still away with my family, spending some quality time and getting some well-needed rest and relaxation. But this video is one that people really loved and responded to, and it's about how you might be getting in your own way. This is information that I use to help the people in my rapid recovery group get well, beat their demons, and stop with the habits that sabotage themselves. One of them would be, are you a people pleaser? Ooh, if you are, make sure you watch this. So enjoy the video, and we will be back soon. I'll be back next week live. And if you are someone that knows that you need not just the information, but you need my help to stop being a people pleaser, to stop sabotaging yourself, and finally just get healthy before the summer's done, then make sure you go ahead and take your spot in my Rapid Recovery Group. It's an amazing program. We love taking care of people. We are not full yet, but we always do sell out. So August 22nd is our next Rapid Recovery Group. If you know it's what you need, make sure you grab your spot. August 22nd, you go to goodbyelupus.com and click Work with Dr. G and the group. Take your spot, and I'll be seeing you soon there in that group. I'll help you get well. In the meantime, enjoy this video, and I'll see you all live again next week. Alrighty, hey there everybody. This is Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodbye Lupus, coming to you live for Wellness Wednesday to answer your questions about health, food, happiness, whatever I can do to help you live a better life. That's what I'm here to do. As always, this cannot substitute for medical advice. I cannot practice medicine with invisible people out there in the internet somewhere. So it is not to replace medical advice from your physician, meant to help you along and guide you as best as I possibly can. I had some stuff. Oh, where'd it go? Okay. I need to move my papers to make me look neater than I am. Let me put my Thank you. I had notes on the topic I want to talk about today. So I'm going to get to Q&A in a moment. I always like to start out with talking about things that I've seen come up that have affected people's ability to get better. And this is something I spend a lot of time with people on, either in wellness sessions, they're 75 minutes for a reason, people, or in my rapid recovery programs. One of the things that I work on a lot with people is how they stop themselves. So the most powerful thing in your ability to recover is all right here. All right. It's all right here. It's your brain. And your brain is either going to be the thing that pushes you past every obstacle to get to your dream or your goal, or it's going to be the thing that holds you back from that dream or goal. And so one of the things that I've always been good at is seeing people and really understanding in the moment what's stopping them. I just had that experience with someone who she met with me, her mom got her session with me, and within the first 10 minutes, she was bawling her eyes out. She was like, how did you do that? This is what I do. Is I've always been an empath. I've always been able to connect with people and see how they hold themselves back. So what I wanted to give you today is some three main ways that I see people hold themselves back. So maybe you might be able to identify that yourself and be able to help yourself. So what I find that people often do as a defense mechanism, especially if they've had traumatic childhoods or felt unsupported or not loved in their childhoods or not loved in the way they needed to be, is they will develop defense mechanisms where they act in a way that's pathological, but they'll tell themselves it's kind of their personality. Okay. So the ones that I see often will be when someone goes, well, it's just because I'm a people pleaser. And I'll say, no, you've got a fear that you are not lovable enough just being who you are. And so you have a pathological need to try to do things that other people will find pleasing, hoping that will make them accept you and love you. And then, of course, they start crying. But my goal is not to make people cry. That's never my goal, but to help them see that their issue is not that they have a personality of being pleasing, but they have a fear of not being lovable. And when we work on that fear, and I teach them how to love themselves, then they stop trying to do things that hurt them, thinking it could make other people happy, right? So I've done actual whole sessions about just people pleasing, even in these lives. Another one I see a lot is someone will say, oh, I'm just a perfectionist. And I'll say, I don't know. because you're not doing things perfectly. You're sabotaging yourself. What you have is a fear that if you don't show up perfect, you'll be rejected, that you won't be loved or accepted unless you show up perfect. And so if you don't think you're perfect, you don't show up at all. And then, right? Again, I confront it not to hurt, but to help them see that their fear of being rejected is actually stopping them from having the health that they want, right? If you join my rapid recovery group and you eat off plan, if you post your log and you get coaching, I'm going to help you figure out how to fix that problem and get on plan, and you're going to heal. But if you eat off plan and you just don't post that day, then yes, I didn't see that you didn't eat off plan, but I also didn't get to help you solve the problem. And guess what? You're going to keep eating off plan. So again, this is one where people will kind of say it like a point of pride as a self-defense mechanism when it's really something that's hurting them. And the one that I got today that I made someone cry today, but it was good. She said it was therapeutic, was that she had Crohn's. Well, she has Crohn's. And when she started doing my smoothies, she felt really good. And then she went to school, and she's on a school health, or not health plan, wish it was a health plan. She's on their lunch plan, their meal plan. And it's terrible stuff like Chick-fil-A and Subway as part of the meal plan. And I said, do you have a refrigerator? She said, yes. I said, is your school in the city? She said, yes. Does the city have a supermarket? Yes. So why aren't you just getting groceries and putting them in your dorm room and eating on plan so you can heal? Well, groceries are expensive. I said, who paid for your appointment today? She said, my mother. I said, so is your mother willing to pay for your groceries? She goes, she would, but I'm fiercely independent and I don't like to ask for help. And I said, why don't you think you're worthy of people's help? Why are you so afraid of asking for help? And then she didn't expect that. And there was, crying, but so tell me what happened that you're so afraid to ask for help. And we got into it. And she had a childhood where she felt depressed and alone and, got more of the snap out of it kind of stuff rather than the real emotional help she needed. And so as a child, she developed a belief that even if she asked for help, she wasn't going to get it. And so she had, right? And in a way, it's wonderful. In spite of having chronic depression and all that stuff, she's in college and she's doing stuff, right? And I congratulated her. I said, you're a badass. Because even though you didn't get the emotional support you needed, you are succeeding and you're making something of your life. And if you keep telling yourself that the only way you can succeed is on your own, you're not going to get healthy. You are a broke college student and you cannot afford the groceries you need to heal, but you have a mother who's willing to pay for it. Let her help you in the way she can. She couldn't help you with the emotions. She can help you with paying for the groceries. Let her help you. And so now she's going to help you. So it's a really important thing. If you find yourself sabotaging yourself and you don't know why, oftentimes you need somebody else to be able to look at you and say what that is. Like I said, that's something I've always been able to do. And I think I hear it almost every session. The first time I meet someone, almost every time they say, you just gave me more in an hour than I've gotten in 20 years of therapy. And it's a huge compliment and I appreciate it. But it's because for me, when I'm sitting with a person, I can feel their heart. And I don't just listen to what they say, but I feel the feelings that go with it. And it also, I'm not afraid to confront people on it because I know it's done out of love. I don't confront people on these things to make them feel bad. I confront them because I love them and I want them to get better and stop lying to themselves. I care about every one of you. It's why I take the time to do these sessions. Right? I could be in another session, but I like to take this time because I want as many people out there to live healthy, happy lives as they can. And sometimes it does take someone else to say, you're telling yourself this, but that's not true. And if you keep telling yourself that, you're never going to get healthy. So if you're not working with me, at least work with somebody. Find a good therapist. And if you've been with someone for 20 years and they haven't helped you, please get a new therapist. I do not know why people are loyal to therapists who do not help them. Like, get a new therapist, okay? So if you have this issue where you go, oh my God, she just nailed it, it's something to work on, all right? We have to fix the right problems, and you have to stop telling yourself that something's part of your personality if it's actually keeping you away from what you need. Then it's a pathology. It's not a personality trait. It's a pathology that needs to be fixed so that you can heal. And when you fix it, not only will you get your health back, you'll be a happier person. So that's the thing I wanted to tell you about today. Okay, so Marjorie Hart wants to know, I have a friend who's struggling to control her RA, and I want to give her the book Goodbye Lupus, but she had lap band surgery last year. Can she safely hypernourish? So the short answer is yes. More detailed answer is I despise procedures that limit people's ability to eat as a way to control their weight, because then they just become malnourished. You can become skinny by being malnourished. There's plenty of people starving in the world and they're skinny because they're malnourished. Only in Western countries do we intentionally malnourish ourselves to be thin. It's a horrific thing. And I understand for some people that it can be life-saving. I'm friends with a GI surgeon who does these procedures. I just know that from my personal experience, I do the emotional work with people. We got to get past the reasons that you're not eating the way you need to, not just starve you. So I would rather, and the other reason I don't like it is because once you get those procedures, then now you're chronically malnourished because of stomach size, and I'm trying to hypernourish, which is overdose you in nutrition. How do we do that? But I have found, I've had people with both gastric bypass surgery and lap bands do my rapid recovery programs, and they were able to do it. We just have to spread out the doses of food, start lower, smaller doses, spread out throughout the day, and they're able to do it. A lot of times, by the time people came to me, they've already stretched out the stomach. So even though they had their stomach cut or they had a lap band put on, you can re-stretch it. And so a lot of the times, by the time they see me, they can do the full program, super high doses, no problem. But generally, I recommend that they eat the right foods, but they have them in smaller doses until fullness, as frequently as they can, to be able to get the nutrition in. She needs the nourishment to reverse the disease. And reversing the disease, the same nourishment that reverses the disease will get rid of the issue that made her get the lap band as well. All right, I get another one on YouTube, and we'll move to Facebook. Peter Mayer says, I prefer to only have 2 meals a day, even on the Goodbye Lupus protocol. Is it okay to have smoothie in the AM and salad in the PM? And is a daily sauna okay? So yeah, if you can get it all in 2 meals and it doesn't hurt your stomach and you're getting results, then I think that's fine. It also depends on how long those meals take, right? Like a salad, you're saying your salad has 22 ounces of cruciferous in it. If you're eating that in 5 minutes, my guess is you're not going to absorb all that. It's going to be a lot in your stomach. But if you tend to be someone who kind of eats over the course of like an hour or so, and you're reading a book and you're just chilling out, that works. So results matter most. Most folks who do hypernourishment need to eat at least 4 meals a day because it's just a lot of food and they get full. But if you find that you're getting great results, you're feeling good, and you're doing it in 2 meals, it's perfectly fine. Saunas, I don't see any reason why you can't do them. I have never tested to see what it does. But in general, if it's good self-care where you feel good and you're well hydrated, I don't see a problem necessarily in that. All right, let's see. Oh, and Peter had a second part of his question here. Can a 70-year-old safely do the Goodbye Lupus protocol with decades of chronic pain, fatigue, insomnia, dizziness on a statin, and high blood pressure? Absolutely. The oldest person I've had do my program was 100. Truly. I had someone sign up for my rapid recovery group, and I'm looking through the paperwork, and I look at the birth date, and I went, this guy is 100, or he messed up the paperwork. I go to text him, and I get the response that it's a landline. And I go, this guy actually is 100. It's a landline. So called the number and I said, hello, sir. Did you sign up for my rapid recovery group? And he said, yes. And I said, are you 100 years old? He said, yes. I said, why are you signing up for my group? And he said, well, he just got diagnosed with autoimmune disease and he doesn't want to die of autoimmune disease. And, but he didn't have a computer. He didn't have Facebook. He didn't have a cell phone. So I said, let's just do phone calls and get you out of the group. So I got him out of the group and we did some phone calls. He did the full Goodbye Lupus protocol and he healed. He was going running every day, doing squats. Like, he was amazing. So yes, I've had people even in my group who are in their 80s, but my oldest client literally was 100 years old and he reversed his autoimmune disease and let him be an example for us all. Okay. Let's check out Facebook. Let me scroll down here. Alexis Williams wants to know, do you think kidney biopsy can cause issues? Okay, that's a complicated question, only in that any procedure, intervention, medication, even a vitamin, even a walk can cause issues, right? I mean, there's a risk for anything we do. And there's also a risk to anything we don't do. So when you're trying to make a decision about what to do, you have to think of the risk and benefit of doing it and the risk versus benefits of not doing it. Normally, if someone wants to give you a kidney biopsy, it's because you have disease in your kidneys and the doctors are trying to figure out the cause of the disease. Is this lupus? Is this IgA nephropathy? What's causing this disease, right? And they're trying to figure out how aggressive is it so that they can figure out what medications to prescribe. So the reasons to do the biopsy is because you are going to take action on the results and follow your doctor's instructions on the medications you need that are appropriate for the disease they diagnose you with and how aggressive it is, right? So for example, when I was diagnosed 30 years ago with kidney disease from lupus, they did the biopsy, and it was after the biopsy that they said, oh my gosh, you have the most aggressive form of lupus nephritis, I can never say membranoproliferative. It is a mouthful. Try saying that 3 times fast. Membranoproliferative. It's just super aggressive. And if we don't shut your immune system off, you're going to be on dialysis or dead in 6 months, right? That's what my kidney biopsy told us. So sometimes the biopsy will, tell people like, oh, wow, this is so aggressive. We need to do something immediately. That's how I ended up on chemotherapy versus like, okay, you have it. It's mild. We can start here, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think for most people, if you're in that position of having kidney disease, it's important information. The only time I don't recommend it is for people who are anti-medication, will never do anything their doctor says anyway. Then you're having a procedure and you're not even going to do anything with it. That's whenever people say, should I get a procedure? I always say, well, are you going to follow your doctor's instructions based off the result? And if not, then I don't see the reason. But for most folks, I do think that getting that information is important. Now, are there risks? Sure. Any surgery, there's risks of bleeding or, all infection, all of those kinds of things. You got to talk to your doctor about it. But again, you have to think of the risk and benefit of doing things and the risks and benefits of not doing things when you're trying to make a decision. Okay. Thank you, Ocean Breeze. Let's see. All right, let me look for more Facebook. Facebook user, do I need to take a fish oil supplement if I'm going on the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol with flax and chia seeds? No, you do not. You do not need to. All right. All right. And Liz has an appointment coming up with me in 2 weeks for psoriasis. Do I want any health history or blood test for the appointment? Yes. So if you signed up for an appointment with me, you go to goodbyelupus.com. You can click on appointments. When you make the appointment, you should get an email that then has links to fill out the health history forms. So please make sure that you do that and check on that. And you can always email me any labs or reports that you want me to look at before our appointment. Absolutely. Okay. Let's go over to Instagram and see how they're doing. All right. Excuse my profile. I got to look at the comments here separately. So thank you for all the hearts and love. Let me see. And Nasser, what alteration can I make? I have gout with arthritis. I haven't seen people have any need to make alterations from the regular Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol with gout. Let me see here. Melissa Jean, New Jersey. Any tips on doing the juice challenge to increase fertility? I actually don't know what the juice challenge is, so I can't give you any tips on a juice challenge. If you're asking me about doing the hypernourishment protocol, Goodbye Lupus protocol, we have absolutely found that people on my Goodbye Lupus protocol, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocols have increased fertility. I have mentioned often we have had oopsies of pregnancies and things from people who were finishing up my group who didn't even know that they could have children. They were told they were infertile. We've had quite remarkable changes in health that way. People who have gotten rid of polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, and other fertility issues. So definitely recommend that, but I don't know what the juice challenge. So hopefully that's what you meant. Let's see here. Okay, so Dumbbells Doorbells wants to know, does your protocol help with SIBO or dysbiosis? Doing green smoothies, but I'm really bloated and doing small doses. So, a lot of times people get really worried about bloating. Bloating can be uncomfortable, okay, but it's not usually a disease in of itself. And I have videos out there where I talk about how bloating is not a disease. It's a symptom of a gut that is either slow, like constipation can cause it, or from flatulence or gas that's being produced because of the bacteria there having difficulty with digesting your food, or because you have an overabundance of the wrong kind of bacteria, etc. So absolutely, you can have issues with bloating when you go from an unhealthy diet, one that's meat and dairy based, processed foods, all that kind of thing, to eating the food your body actually needs. A lot of people have bloating initially. And it's because the bacteria that are really good at digesting the diet that you were eating before, because we choose our gut bacteria with our food. We feed the bacteria, right? So the ones that are really good at eating your previous diet are going to be really bad at figuring out what to do with all that kale. And so by eating the right foods over time, you will be causing the right bacteria to grow, and the ones that couldn't hack it, are the ones that would die off. Now, I do recommend that people take high-grade probiotics to help with that. And I've had people with SIBO who are told that, and probiotics are bad because you already have too much bacteria. I have not had that be the case with my clients. If you have a case like that, where you have a doctor following you and you have tested this and you have an issue, listen to that doctor. But I've had many people who come to work with me who've been diagnosed with leaky gut, dysbiosis, SIBO, all of those things, and they've all gotten better doing the program. If you're overly bloated, you can always start lower doses of things, spread things out, use flax oil instead of flax or chia seeds so that you're getting rid of some of the extra fiber, which can contribute to bloating, and give yourself some time. Tariq on Facebook says, please help. What can I do for salads on the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, for dressings, toppings, etc.? Tariq, I have great news for you. Finally, my long-awaited recipe book is out, and it has tons of recipes for salads and dressings. It's called Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious. So if you join our smoothie shred group, you're on Facebook. If you join our smoothie shred group on Facebook, there are definitely tons of people who have posted their own favorite dressings in there. I have dressing in there. Like, it's a really great place for free recipe share. If you want a lot of recipes, on ones that are all from people who have actually healed. So my recipe book is all submissions from either myself or people who've healed on my protocol, and a few from my son, Alex, who only was alive because of my protocol healing me. It has wonderful recipes in there. And the dressing recipes are awesome. One of the cool things, I've been enjoying all of you guys in Smoothie Shred posting all your favorite recipes that you're having and how much you love the different dressings and things. It's been a real pleasure to see everybody enjoying it. So you go to Amazon, you'll see it there. It is pretty awesome that you guys have kept it a bestseller. That means all of the books I've ever Goodbye Lupus, Goodbye Autoimmune Disease, and now Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, all were a bestseller on their first day out. I know this time you guys are really extra supportive because of my Alex and his contribution, and I know he appreciates that too. but there's tons of recipes there. So if you just want to see what you can find for free, go to smoothieshred.com and click the link there to go to the Smoothie Shred group. The reason I say that is if you just look up Smoothie Shred in Facebook, well, if you look at groups only, you'll find us. But there is some personal trainer guy who made a Facebook page called Smoothie Shred, and he used my face as his profile picture. But then when you click the link, it takes you to his page, his website. So apparently he thinks my face will sell his programs, but that's not me. I'm Goodbye Lupus and it's Smoothie Shredder Smoothie Solutions. So make sure that you see that. And when you click on it, you'll see my husband and I there. And you'll know that that's the right page. So plenty of stuff. People in that group are super supportive. They share their success stories. They share their recipes. They encourage each other. It's a really beautiful place, and it's a free place online. All right, let's see here. Let me find another Facebook one. All right, so Betty Nordmark wants to know, can you eat more flax seeds to fill you up than the protocol calls for? Or is it dangerous to eat too much? I eat almost 12 tablespoons a day. Is that okay? Totally you can. So if you are hungry, one of the best things you can do is just optimize your nourishment. So let's say you're getting like 16 ounces of cruciferous vegetables a day and you're still hungry, have more vegetables. That would be an awesome thing to do. But if you are full up on all your vegetables and you're just feeling like a nosh, well, New Yorkers call it a nosh, a snack, something to chew on, then you can absolutely have more flax seeds. I have folks that have had major amounts, cups of it a day, and they've done really well with their recovery. I know there was this, I already know someone mentioned, there was an article released a couple of years ago where they were afraid that there was a possible to get like arsenic poisoning from flax. And it was disproven. They had to like give people so much of it on an empty stomach to even find anything detectable, and there was still not enough to actually cause a problem. What I've done in thousands of people now is give them large amounts of flax and chia seeds, and all I've done is reverse diseases, get fast metabolisms, stop getting sick from coughs and flus and stuff like that. So 8 tablespoons is actually not that much. I mean, 12 tablespoons is not that much compared to some of the folks I've seen. And really, you're just getting more benefit from the omega-3s. So that'll help your metabolism. It'll help with the healing process. And if you have more than you need, that's what the bathroom's for. Okay. Let's see here. All right, let's look at Instagram. And then Liberian Girl 85, love you back. Is it okay to consume large amounts of flax for fibroids? Generally, yes, absolutely. So sometimes people are worried about whether or not there's an estrogen component. I've done a lot of videos. You can search my YouTube on why phytoestrogens are not estrogen. They are not estrogen, but they actually help you lower your exposure to estrogen. And for most people, that's very helpful. If you have the opposite problem where somehow you need more estrogen, which is usually not the case, you can always use chia seeds instead. But I have not seen any problem with people using flax seeds and reversing endometriosis and fibroids. So I'm not really worried about that. Let me see. Lizzie, this is live. Someone's like, is this an old live? It's actually live. No, it is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. Okay, let me see here. What brand of vitamins do you recommend safe for Hashimoto's patients? There are so many different brands out there of vitamins. In general, what I'd say with vitamins is you get what you pay for. So for some things, cheap works just as well. And when it comes to vitamins, though, not so much. So generally, you want to use high-end companies. If you look at my Amazon list, then you will, I do have my favorite supplements on my Amazon list. How do you get my Amazon list? If you are on Instagram, you click the link in my profile. It has my link tree. My link tree has everything: how to get my books, how to get to Smoothie Shred, how to get an appointment, and it has my Amazon list. All that kind of stuff is right there. If you're on Facebook and you're on my Goodbye Lupus page, you click the Learn More, and that has my link tree. If you're on YouTube, at the bottom of most of my videos, there's a link tree, or you can look up Linktree Goodbye Lupus, and you'll find it that way. But it's in all of those different areas, and I have an Amazon list. There should be a way to get it directly. Here, let me just look, because that's kind of annoying, right? Let me see. So to get to my Amazon, let me see here, Dr. G's Amazon list. So, okay, well, that actually would make it very easy. Let me just check to see if this link works. Okay. Yeah, so if you do Amazon.com, here, let me see if I can, I'll put it in the chat here. You do Amazon.com/shop/Goodbye Lupus. Then you'll see a little box that has my list on it, and you should be able to get it that way. So, but like I said, it's on all of my link trees everywhere on social media. I did the link tree to help everybody be able to find what they need as easily as possible. Okay, let's see. All right, and then Boss Babo 3, hi, my daughter has lupus and both of her kidneys. Has only 35% function. What food and vitamins would you recommend? So I'm sorry, Boss, that your daughter's so sick. Good news is we can help her get better. And she's going to have to buy in. I don't know how old she is. If she's a kid, awesome. You're going to take over and make sure she eats what she needs to eat. If she's an adult, now you got to have conversations, maybe show her my classes or my book or something and see if she's motivated to try. But we need to do the full protocol. So we need to go full on at least the Goodbye Lupus protocol and get the nutrition going. If she has any issues around emotional health, sleep, stress, all that kind of stuff, the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, and we need to do it quickly. At 35% kidney function, there's a very good chance that we need to personalize her plan, because at that point, she's probably not metabolizing her electrolytes properly, not metabolizing, but not able to remove the electrolytes. So one of the things that the kidney's main job is to make sure that you have the right level of electrolytes in your bloodstream, and whatever isn't that you don't need for the bloodstream comes out in the urine, right? Sodium, potassium, things like that. So if the kidneys are malfunctioning to that level, 35%, then there's a good chance that if we just do the straight protocol, like if you just go straight off my books and things, that she could spike her potassium too high, or the water could cause her to lose too much sodium, and that could cause major risks to her. So we have to get the right dosage that will get rid of the lupus and optimize the kidney's ability to heal, but not too much where it's more than she can handle. So when people have kidney disease that's this severe, people have stage 1 and they can eat whatever they want, they can do it off my free stuff, off my books, all that stuff, do that. Okay, you know. But at this level, I really recommend she work with me so I can see her labs, see what her kidneys can actually handle, and then we can come up with a plan from there. Usually when people are that sick, they'll choose rapid recovery because I can watch every day and observe their labs as they get them. And that way we can adjust the dosage to get the right dose of the high nutrient vegetables, the right dosage of water, so we can optimize recovery without causing any kind of problems. So we can do it, but we do need to dive in and be aggressive about it. So if you go to goodbyelupus.com, there you can see ways to work with me. I try to help people as much as I can, free like this. But when it comes to organ failure, oftentimes you're going to need that help so that we can get it right. But even if we can freeze it now, even if I suspect that if she has inflammation in her kidneys, it's going to go up. I've gotten people off the transplant list. I've gotten people off dialysis before. I've gotten people who haven't been urinating to start urinating again, usually within a few weeks. So if the kidneys can improve, they will. But even if they froze here, she could avoid dialysis if we take care of it now and don't let the lupus progress. So hopefully either she's a kid that you can make do this, or she's willing and open to take action and to try this program and get healthy. I'm rooting for you. Okay, let's see here. Let's go back to YouTube. Wow, we've got between Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook over 1,000 people here right now. I am honored by all of your trust and all of you coming and hanging out with me. Let's see here. Okay. Claudia wants to know, does cooked food dehydrate you to digest it? I don't know that you can make a general statement about that. I guess it really depends. It really depends on what you're eating. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you for that. But if you're doing hypernourishment, you're getting enough water to push everything through. That was a new question, though. I wish I had an answer for you. I don't like to guess at things. I either know or I say I don't know. That's always my promise. Okay. Krithika. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me see. Krithika N. I'm not even going to try. Let me see. Hi, Dr. G. Will GLP help fissures? You didn't specify. If you're talking about anal fissures, then yes, because those are usually caused by constipation and straining. And I've helped people get rid of that constipation so that they can heal. Sometimes, though, anal fissures require surgery because it's very hard to heal them because they're constantly contaminated. As you can imagine, but you didn't say what kind of fissures, so I just took a stab at it. Hopefully that was the one you meant. Be specific, people, so I know what you're asking me. Candy Self-Lug, I'm looking to start the raw diet. I have microscopic colitis. Will this help with that? Yes, it will, absolutely. Let's see here. Michael says, do you have any knowledge on retinopathy? 59, male, 3 years diabetic. I don't know if you meant to write remission. Thank you and our deepest sympathy for your family. Thank you very much. Yes, we've had people do really well in improving eye health, whether it's, I've had so many people now with birdshot uveitis, other types of uveitis, vision loss of different kinds, even people not needing their glasses anymore. So many different types of eye disease, glaucoma, all reversible. Whether or not the diabetic retinopathy is reversible, we would only know by trying. Sometimes there's already damage. Like, for example, I just got a message from someone with birdshot uveitis who did my rapid recovery group years ago, and he has no signs of birdshot uveitis anymore. His doctors are so confused. I never even heard that diagnosis from medical school, but now I have a huge list of people who have healed from it completely in my program. But he said that he does have some scar tissue in his eyes from when he had active disease. So the scar tissue has remained, but there's no sign of inflammation or disease anymore. So just like any organ, if there's been permanent damage that's scarred over, that won't heal because your body considers scar tissue as already healed, right? Doesn't that make sense? Like I have some scars in my hands because I'm very clumsy, and where there's scars, there's no healing happening because it's already done. That scar is just there, and that's how it is forever. So we would only know if it was reversible by doing the full protocol and seeing what happened. Okay, let's go back down to Facebook. All right. Terry wants to know if the protocol would affect lithium levels. Not that I'm aware of. I have never seen or heard of anyone having an issue with that. It does help with mood, though. And so lithium can be used for depression, for bipolar. And I have helped people stabilize their moods with using the nutrition. It doesn't mean you don't need your medications. That's something to talk to your doctor about. But it definitely helps. Definitely helps. Let's see. Maddie wants to know my stance on adding ionic minerals or lemon to water to make it hydrating and not run right through us. I've never needed to add anything to water to get results. I know there's a lot of different ideas out there. People think that drinking water doesn't hydrate you. It's anti-science. It's also anti-results. So what we have found is that when it comes to recovery, people getting at least 96 ounces of water a day, especially if you are an adult that's, over 90 pounds, that has been amazing for recovery and health. When people have less than that, they don't get the same results typically, right? So everything I teach is results oriented. If I was trying to get people to drink water and they were just still dehydrated and it wasn't working, then I would be looking for solutions for that. But I haven't needed to look for solutions because we haven't had a problem with it. So if you like the taste of lemon in your water and it makes you drink more water to have it, that's when you do it. Okay. Let's see. The other thing you can do is space out your water, instead of just like, you don't want to chug, like this is a 64 ounce, right? I just refilled it. Don't worry, guys. But you don't want to chug this whole thing down and then take a break, right? You're going to be running to the bathroom versus if you have like, you can follow this one has the little encouragement lines on it. I don't follow them because I don't like to drink till 9 p.m. But if you just kind of do it like that, you should be able to absorb your water intake just fine. Okay, let's see here. Okay, another Facebook user. I'm getting 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day for osteoporosis in my big Vitamix hypernourishing smoothie. I've read that the body can only absorb so much calcium at once. Do I need to spread the smoothie throughout the day? Or is it okay if I start in the morning and I finish by 1 p.m.? I'm going to look up the amount of calcium in different cruciferous vegetables. You don't need to worry about that. Can you imagine that any other animal on the planet was using an app to figure out if they were getting enough nutrition? We don't need to do that. If you're having that smoothie and you're starting it in the morning and finishing it by 1, you're doing great. You're doing great. Okay. All right. Let's see. One thing that can be difficult, guys, and that's just with the app I use for streaming, is if you write too long of something, it gets cut off and I actually can't see the rest of it. And I need to use the app because there would be no way for me to have all of these things open and trying to see all the comments. So Catherine Cooper, I'm going to read what's here, but I can see that there's a continuation and I don't know what the rest of it is. But I'm going to see if just reading through it, I can get to your answer without the ending. All right, I'm going to try. It says, I'm 38. After recurrent miscarriages 4 in a row, I was diagnosed with APS a year ago. That's antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. It causes blood clots. My phospholipid antibody IgM was 20.9 November. I did your most aggressive goodbye autoimmune disease protocol. And after 6 weeks, my phospholipid was down to 17.1. It dropped 4 points. I'm extremely thankful for, and I want to keep going with this protocol. And in 6 weeks, my beta glycoprotein IgM dropped from 62 to something. So it already dropped. All right. The question is not apparent, but I definitely would say that doing the full goodbye autoimmune disease protocol is what you want to do. I'm glad you're already getting results. I'm sorry that you've had so many miscarriages. It is a very difficult thing to do, to get through. I know how much hope and excitement there is when you're pregnant and how much you look forward to that child, and losing the child is very, very traumatizing and difficult. So at least now you have an answer as to why. And if you do the protocol, you have an answer as to how you can get better. If you saw my new book, Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious, one of the testimonies in the very beginning of the book is from Robin Lawley. She's a supermodel. She's gorgeous. All right. And she had lupus and antiphospholipid antibody syndrome. And what happened is the blood clot went to her brain and caused a stroke that caused her to fall down a flight of stairs and hit her head. And because of the injury from the stroke, she got a seizure disorder, and she has to live with this. It's a very scary thing. She did my rapid recovery program with me, my private program, and reversed the lupus and got rid of the APS completely. And so she's not afraid anymore of that. And because she's so gorgeous, the scar she got on her head from falling down the steps, she's now a model for scar cream. So that's what happens when you're gorgeous. You get injured and then you get new jobs. So love you, Robin. But that's something that I see all the time is, and she talks about me on her Instagram all the time. And I always appreciate that. I'll see her comment on people saying, you should work with Goodbye Lupus. But for the folks that I've seen, I had APS and I got mini strokes, mobile mini strokes when I was in my 20s from that. I don't have it anymore. I don't need to take blood thinners anymore. I have not had a knee clots for 18 years. So you're on the right path is what I'm saying. If you get stuck or struggle, do my group or something. Let's just finish it. But it looks like you're doing it. And please let us know when it works for you. And hopefully you'll be able to have that child that you want so much. That's going to be one very wanted and loved child, I can tell. All right, let's see here. Let's go over to Instagram. Denomite, don't need to worry about lectins and chia seeds. Nope, and you don't need to worry about lectins, period. All right. Aris 1014, regarding scleroderma, do you recommend saunas? I wanted to know if dry or wet saunas is better for scleroderma. I don't know the answer to that. I have never tested saunas for scleroderma. I have had people with scleroderma do my rapid recovery group and reverse it, even with end stage, be able to start moving parts of that, moving eyebrows, opening mouth again. Someone who was completely frozen. People who were in the early stages, being able to reverse it and look like they had, procedure done because they look so good. So it's a scary illness. It responds very well to the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol. Whether or not saunas help, I don't know. I haven't tested it, so I don't know. Thank you for all the love, people. Let me see. All right. Linguistic Galino says, well, I want to know your thoughts on grass-fed organic beef despite it going against your protocol. I don't know what other thoughts you want from me. The reason it goes against my protocol is because it's still inflammatory. It's less inflammatory than the factory farmed meat, but it's still inflammatory. And that's why it drives me nuts when people try to say that it's anti-inflammatory. If you're eating meat, you're not on an anti-inflammatory diet. It's still higher in omega-6 and omega-3. There's still going to be inflammation. And it's something where there are some people who can have some of that and eat all the other things and they feel better, and I'm happy for them. But there are many people I've seen who have added that to their diet and they've only gotten sicker, and then they had to do my protocol to recover. So it's one of those things where if you want to choose a way to get better as quickly as possible with no risk, then do the Goodbye Lupus protocol. It's going to work for you. If you're trying to lower your risk by choosing better as you work towards the protocol, then that would be a better choice than factory farmed. But in terms of health, but it's not healthy, and it's still inflammatory, and it still puts your health in danger. Nirali 2103 says, I'm in awe of how you are back fully and completely. I appreciate that. I don't know that I'll ever be full and complete again without my son. So I appreciate that very much. But I'm doing okay. I just started my 4-week, I have a new person doing my 4-week program. I'm only doing one a month now because I'm trying to get back to my full workload more slowly and give myself time. But I'm working, and we were talking yesterday, and she was telling me how she's been through so much trauma in her life. And when she had a terrible trauma and lost her husband, she retreated to her room and was just in bed. And her therapist said, there's 2 ways people tend to cope with trauma. You can go to your room and not come out of your bed, or you can try to return to your routine. The people who return to their routine are the ones that get better. And I said, yes, that's exactly right. And that's what's been helping us. It hasn't been easy, but it's easier. So that's what we've been doing, So I feel like myself. I can smile and I can laugh and I can enjoy myself. And I also have a part of me that is sad and aches and cries, So yes, I am back and I'm here. And will I ever be the same? No, but but I'm here and I want to be here and I want to be happy. And I'm really looking forward to the rapid recovery group that's starting this Friday, because I've been going over all your paperwork and most of you are traumatized. That's, there's higher rates of autoimmune disease in people with trauma, because trauma is so inflammatory and makes people so sick. So I have always helped people overcome trauma. And even as I've been overcoming it myself, I hear myself in my head, which might be kind of weird, but I've heard my own voice in my head this whole time. Like, okay, in the beginning it was saying, okay, you're in shock. You need to drink water. You need to drink your smoothie. You need to, so there's like this part of me that's healthy that's been telling me, and you need to go for walks. And then talking, my family talks. My husband and my son Solomon and I are very close. We talk together. We walk together, and we've returned to our routines together. And I'm so impressed and happy with how my son Solomon's doing. He went back to school and he's told me, like on the bus, he feels sad and misses his brother. But then at school, he can learn and feel normal and laugh and do his homework and focus. He's got extraordinary mental health, and I'm proud of him for that. And so that is what good mental health is. It's not that you can't get hurt. Absolutely. Like I'm still very hurt, but it means that you don't give up on your life. You return to your routine. You give yourself permission to be happy. Very important thing. I said that to my son, believe that myself, that even in loss, we have to give ourselves permission to smile. We have to look for the light in our lives. We have to listen for the music and dance. We have to do that. And when we do that, we give our brain the ability to heal, because it's like, otherwise all you feel is sadness, and that deepens the trauma, and it causes depression. That if you go, yes, I feel this heavy sadness, and I'm also going to do everything I can to connect with joy, to connect with love, to connect with things that make me feel good, then there's healing. And so I always tell people trauma is very much like when you hear an old person who had some old war injury or something, and they say they know when it's going to rain because their knee aches when it rains. That's what trauma becomes eventually. When it's raw and it hurts, it's a new hurt. It's an overwhelming pain. But in time, as you heal, it becomes an ache that can be triggered sometimes, like when it's raining out and someone has an old injury, but it doesn't take over your life. And so that's where we are moving. My family intensely misses our little boy. And I still cry. And I love my work. And I have great purpose. And that is what gives people the ability to recover. My purpose is still here. You are my purpose. Being here with all of you, being a part of your health, your healing, your ability to save your kids and your life, that gives me great purpose. And that's why I'm back. And that's why you can see a person who can smile and who can think and who can function, because I'm so connected to the love of my life. I'm committed to happiness, and I'm committed to my purpose in serving all of you. So if you're wondering why you think I've seen back, that's why I'm back. So if me walking through my pain in my life gives you permission to do the same, then that helps me too. That helps me too. And I've had a lot of people, by the way, I see your messages, people who have reached out and said, I was off plan and I had an excuse about family drama or this or that. And watching you last week made me realize I don't have any excuses. It's time to do this. And I've had some people who joined my group for that very reason, because they're like, I don't have any excuse anymore. If you can get up every day and drink your smoothie, drink your water, and live your life, then I can too. So if my pain helps others heal, it's always been that way. Healing from lupus, helping people, anything that I'm experiencing in my life, if there's some way that it can help you have a better life, then that's what I'm here for. It's what I was made for. So love all of you guys. Glad to see so many of you here live. I will be back next week. And in the meantime, make sure you take care of yourself. Like I said, the January group is full unless somebody cancels last minute. But we do have a group that will be in March. And I always recommend, if people know they want to do it, to sign up, because they always do fill up. But in the meantime, we have appointments. My husband Thomas does appointments as well if you don't want to wait for me. He's incredible. Everyone who meets with him is very happy. I mean, literally, he's the one who healed me. So we have other programs like that, 4-week rapid recovery, things like that. But in the meantime, do what you already know how to do. Don't let anything stop you, not your thoughts, not your excuses, not your traumas. Take care of yourself. You need recipes? We got recipe books now, finally. Go to Smoothie Shred. Watch all my free content. Whatever you do the best you can. And don't waste any time. Life's too precious. All right, everybody, it's good to see all of you. I will see you next time.